everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck, and today I'm joined by the super duper Kathy Basil, AI Whisperer. And Kathy and I are going to have a lot of fun today because we're going to talk about sales, we're going to talk about your AI edge, and we're going to put this all together for you. And if you're looking at like a title, let's do that. The AI Edge: Captivate Clients with Magnetic Messaging that Converts. That's the topic that we're going to be talking about. And everybody's hearing a lot about AI, right, Kathy?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's everywhere.
Yeah. And, Kathy and I both share this philosophy that if you think AI is the Staples Easy button, you're wrong because it's just garbage in, garbage out. So, the key thing, as Kathy says, is the magic of AI isn't producing more content, it's creating connection and fostering empathy. And using AI is a very effective tool. So, Kathy, will you expand on that?
Absolutely. And I think that's how you and I just absolutely were soul sisters. The first time that we met, we were talking about joy in our business. And gosh, I just think it's such a heartbreak that so many of us, and I've been there, resisting sales because we think that it's some kind of manipulation kind of a thing. And I have to say, AI has really helped me even beyond. So my background's in marketing, and then I was doing transformational life coaching. And I kind of sucked at my own marketing messaging. So sometimes I think we're too close to it. But when you've got a tool like AI to go in and not do not just the demographics about, I work with Susie who does yoga and wears Lululemon, you can go deeper. And that's what the intro kind of said about building a deep understanding of who your clients are, the conversation they're having in their own heads. What are their struggles? But even more so, what are they making those struggles mean about them? How long have they been struggling? Really get some strategic input from the sales standpoint. I'm kind of like the marketing girl. I message out so because I'm afraid of sales. So I love this coming together with you because you're like, here's how we connect, bring that connection that you just developed with really great marketing into the conversation that really just leads them into the decision of what they want to do. But when you understand, people, they buy based on emotion and justify with logic. So when you can understand what that deeper heartache is, it's not just losing the weight or the whiter teeth. What they're looking for is some kind of personal satisfaction, confidence in their looks, their vitality. When you get on that deeper level, that's when we can really start to bond with these people and just give them the gift of feeling seen, heard, and understood.
Yeah. Yeah. So, expanding on that, let's lean into this theme that why AI isn't an easy button. So, my question to you is how do you use AI strategically to unlock a steady stream of clients? Can you sort of walk us through some of the things you need to do?
Yeah. So it's interesting because a lot of it is actually kind of like homework before you even dive in. And I think, and you see this too, that people are eager to go in and make the sale or make the connection, get out there networking. But until, yes, stop and really get clear on two things: who you are, what makes you different. Simon Sinek talks about how people buy your why. When you can elevate the work that you do into a bigger mission statement, there's an attraction factor that is really going to help you rise above. And I think that's super, super important as we move into this coming year because so many people are churning out a lot of vanilla content with AI. Because, yeah, you can do it fast, but what does it matter? If you're not making the connection, then take the time to get clear on who you are. How did your life journey bring you into doing this work? What is the change you and you alone would like to see in the world? And how are you uniquely, your whole life has prepared you for this moment now? Like, how is that? Get clear on that. And oddly enough, you can chat with, I use ChatGPT. Pick the one you want. I'm a big proponent of choosing one and go deep with it. So I'll talk about chat and just chat with it, go deep with it, and it can help you understand things about yourself that maybe you haven't seen up until now. But then the second piece of that homework is doing the same thing for your client. Go deep into the psychographics, understand like what have they tried before? What are they afraid to try because it's failed them time and time again? And then what do they need to believe in order to be able to say yes to you? And so, man, back in the day, you used to have to pay a marketing company to do this kind of deep client research for you. And so it could cost thousands of dollars and take months. And now with, it's right at our fingertips. It's really elevating what we as solopreneurs or small business owners can generate for ourselves in a very, like a fraction of the time, and definitely just a teeny bit of what it used to cost. But to get really, really clear on what messaging, create those messaging pillars, and stop feeling like you got to create new content all the time. You don't. If you've got 5 main things those people need to know to move towards that yes, you take that one pillar and you spin hundreds of different content from that one theme.
Yeah. Now I agree. You have to have this foundational work. And that's really understanding, as you said, your why. And then I call it reverse engineering into your client why. And having those pieces and really recognizing your voice so that you can train the AI that you choose. Now, another caveat to that I want to point out is that many people aren't aware of this, but different AI tools are really specialized for different purposes and they have bias. ChatGPT actually has one of the lowest bias, thresholds. I'm not sure what you say, but some are horrible. They're just like this whole bro crap, right? So you want to really choose a platform that's going to give you that really even keel, right? Embrace that diversity of thought. So there's that piece I want to bring out. And there's also really important pieces about you don't just ask ChatGPT a simple question. When I work with ChatGPT, I'm literally using a Word doc where I've created a pretty elaborate question with a lot of information before I even put that in. So I'm giving it all these parameters. And then when I look at their response, you can see things like, I didn't ask for that. Why did you just enter? Where did this come from? And it's really important that you monitor it for that purpose as well. And, make sure that you're also helping it learn, your tone, your voice, your style, because that's going to help you when you're working on other pieces for your
I think
messaging.
that's a big stumbling block for people to even get started with it because, and I avoided it for a long time, same kind of thing. I was doing transformational life work and I'm about consciousness and energy and how could it possibly capture my voice? And when I first dropped my messaging in and saw what came out, I was like, this is game changing. And so just like you're saying, of taking that time, just to get so clear because the more time you spend with it, the more it's going to understand you. And like you said, give it like it'll take it's limitless how much information you can feed in there. So even if you think it's tangent to who you are, but I love your newsletters are so entertaining and you can learn so much about who you are. You're sharing funny stories and the things that you read or the television things. That human factor is the element that's going to be paramount that we work that into whatever we're getting out of the responses from our AI.
Yeah, and that is one of those tricks that I learned. I actually will write really long stories sometime about something that happened, and then I've already trained, in this case, ChatGPT on my voice and my tone and everything, and then I'll say, um, and then I'll literally give it the newsletter I'm writing, which I've also already written, and then this long story. And I said, well, I want the story to only be 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you help me? So it's like acting as an editor. And then I'll look at it, and now I don't just copy and paste that. I often make my own edits, but it gives me, it's like this shortcut for me that literally I've already done that work, but now instead of struggling with it and fighting with it and trying to figure it out, it helps me in 2 minutes. And all of a sudden, a huge time saver.
I know,
And
invariably, I'll have
yeah,
something that I've written and I'm like, darn, that's pretty good. And I'll drop it in there for a second opinion. And it always has something to, another metaphor, another point, or the formatting. It always takes it up the next level. So, whichever way you like to work. But just like you said, I like to just throw in all the odds and ends, the crazy pieces of what I want that newsletter to be about, what the outcome, like you said, reverse engineering. What do you want people to feel from that? What do you want them to do at the end of that? What kind of stories? Like how does that connect with, who you are? Do you want to position yourself as an expert, or do you want to position yourself as approachable in this particular one? So it the word I just use, it's gobsmacked because it's just so freaking crazy good once you take the time. So for those people who haven't started yet, I encourage you just to play with it and begin to see what it can do, and it will begin to inform you. But it's going to be a big year for AI, and if you haven't started using it, you're really going to be behind the eight ball for the people who just started playing with it. Like they say, the best time to plant a tree was last year. Well, today is the next best. So
yeah, there's only now, you know.
yeah.
And so you also talk about three codes to crafting magnetic messaging that captivates and converts. Will you share those three codes with us?
Yeah, so the three codes are kind of like we talked about. The first is really speaking from your purpose, getting to that bigger why. Simon Sinek keeps ringing in my ears right now. Speak from your why. Think about your story. What is the change? Elevate it to a space where it becomes a magnetic message, because now people want to become part of something bigger than them and something that's making a change for good. We kind of got a crazy mixed up world. So make your message big, and that's where the magnetism begins to come into your marketing messaging. The second is just like you're saying about the knowing your clients and understanding the emotional aspects that are going on in their head, joining the conversation they're already having, so that you can help them have hope. In the diet world, think of that one is a sharp contrast of they've tried many things, like why would they try again, that kind of thing, regardless of what kind of business you're in. What have they tried before that would keep them from having hope that you can help them get there? And then you can ask all kinds of things, like, what type of information does this kind of person need to have, to hear from me? Are they fact oriented? Are they emotion based? Are they needing short, quick copy because they're busy moms? Are they, somebody, you want to have a mix of all this stuff. And that's where, again, AI can be your super companion with that. So the third code is to build that trust through consistency. All too often, small business owners or entrepreneurs, we get kind of on that roller coaster because, oh, yay, we've got lots of clients. We don't have time to market. Oh no, all the clients are done. Time to market. And so we get this push you, pull you kind of a thing. And AI can really help you to even out, instead of this big slope, kind of even out how you're showing up. But again, the consistency part of that is being consistent in what you're speaking about. Do your people have 5 pillars? We just had MLK Day, or Valentine's Day is coming up. You can give it different spices or spins, if you will, but you always want to bring it back to what it is your client needs to hear. So ultimately, there's going to be more content than ever, and you want to make sure that you're not just churning out more content. You're showing up consistently with high quality content. And by that, I mean the content that's going to speak to their heart, going to join that conversation in their heads and be part of that journey that brings you right into Lynn's world, so that you can have that heartfelt sales conversation. And then there's not such a big break between marketing and then, oh, now we got to have the sales conversation. It's kind of like they've been seeing you online and they know who you are, what you stand for, how you're different, how you work. Are you friendly and goofball like me, or does somebody want somebody who's all buttoned up and, great. But getting clear, I think that's too, in that knowing your ideal client, who do you want to work with? Who are those people that are like, oh, I love every time we get together, those people who energize and inspire you? Get clear on that. There's so many clients out there. Like, choose the ones that are that unique spark for you, and make sure that you're understanding them in a way that they're like, I want to work with that goofy Kathy girl.
Well, that's so true. It has to be a win-win. I mean, and that's what makes sales joyful. When you're working in that place of passion, where you get to help and serve and create massive impact, and you love who you're working with. So I know that you also talk about omnipresence and how that interconnects with AI. So I'm going to ask you that. What is that, and how do you create this omnipresent and make it simple with AI so that you can bring more relevant conversations um, to your clients?
Yeah, that's a great one. Good question. So omnipresence is the concept of whenever someone pops up onto online, they say, "Wow, there she is again," kind of a thing. So how do we do this without? We have limited time in our world, right? We got lots of hats we're wearing. We can't spend all of our time on marketing. You've got to get efficient at using tools like AI to take one pillar piece that maybe you start, and I'm a big fan of long form content because from that it's easy to spin shorter pieces, and you can drop that into your AI and ChatGPT and say, take this blog and make 3 different social media posts. Or, and this is the thing, like, if you're listening to this, chances are you've got a treasure trove of information like this conversation right here. You can take this interview and transcribe it, and now you've got a full thing that you can drop into a transcript that you can drop into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, pick out my most brilliant quotes out of this." And you'll be amazed. I do it with my workshops. I say, "Hey, give me the best testimonials from this workshop." And then it's so easy to go back to ideal clients and say, "Hey, this is kind of what it came up with. Do you want to add a little something, or can I use this?" So, but back to the omnipresence. So take a long form piece of content, regardless of whether it's video or blog or article, or it could even be a longer post, but then use AI to repurpose that in many different ways. And again, once you get your core pillars, here's 5 things I'm always going to talk about. I'll just give a quick example. I worked with a gal. She was a Chinese medicine doctor, and she'd been doing it for 40 years. So long the you can imagine she had all kinds of tools in her toolbox. And so one day she's talking about gut health, and another day kids with autism and allergies and all over the board. So narrow in, bring one caveat, so that umbrella, so people know who you are, what you stand for. So what we did is came up with a theme of allergies because of her own life journey, made that her extra drive to help people understand all the different ways that allergies are, that they don't even know they have, are affecting their world. She could still talk about those other things, but it came under this bigger identity. And I think we need to start being cognizant of your personal brand. So what are the things, what colors are you showing up, the fonts, think about those things. How do you format your LinkedIn posts every time so that it's kind of got a fingerprint on there? But omnipresence is about taking one piece, spinning it to those different platforms, using chat, because the way you speak on LinkedIn is going to be different from Facebook, is going to be different from Instagram or TikTok. So, but yeah, it's just, we got a treasure trove of things that we can do, which is important to have your marketing strategy kind of figured out. And
Yeah.
I love how you said begin with the end in mind. Like, you could do all the things, stop doing all the things, pick 2 or 3 tactics that work for you. I'm a talker, so I love doing workshops and webinars and interviews and stuff like that. And then guess what? From that, I can write. I can have ChatGPT take that transcript and write. But we got to make it simple and fun for ourselves. Otherwise, yeah, life's too long.
Yeah, when I call that repurposing, the content. And it's that concept of how you can create something once and then use it for many different things. And that is a great way that you can use ChatGPT. Specifically, we're talking about as an example, whatever AI platform you're using, if you're looking to repurpose some content. And I love the suggestion of, like, this live stream that we're doing right now. We're going to be able to pull that out. This is going to be a podcast on the Get More Clients show. And so it's going to, hey, there's a place that's being multi-purposed right there. It becomes a post, right? It's got all these different things that are going to happen. So that one piece of content, it literally becomes a plethora of content. And when you strategically plan it from that sales perspective and the marketing perspective, that's where things start to come together. Oh,
There it
there it
goes.
went. You were just
I'm at a temporary space, and I was afraid that was going to happen.
and it's all good. It's a perfect way to wrap up, Kathy. We
I
can
feel like the Wizard of Oz. There's the man behind that thing,
yeah, it's all
but
good. It's all good. So, Kathy, I think you had mentioned that you might have something to offer the audience, a free lead magnet, obviously, yeah, but some kind of tool that they could use. And we've got the chat open if you want to drop that in the chat.
okay. And what it is I call it the Wow Messaging Makeover. And so it's a GPT where you can program your chat GPT to have some magic behind it, kind of like this. We got magic behind there. Um, and you just answer a couple quick questions, but what comes out will show you the power of AI to really capture your emotion, your empathy, your deep connection on why you do the work that you do and who your ideal client, what they're going to get from working with you and only you. So that's a Wow Messaging Makeover. I'll send you share the link to the GPT where you can just play with that. And then if you want to go deeper with it, it's got my contact info at the end.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for offering that gift and this really great advice and conversation around the AI edge, captivating clients with magnetic messaging that converts, and really reinforcing, how to use ChatGPT effectively, with really with those smarts behind it, so that it really becomes a powerful, powerful tool.
Yeah,
All right. So, did you add that to the chat? I'm not
I
seeing
did
it.
not.
Okay, let's get that added to the chat for everybody who's joined us live. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, this will, as I'm wrapping up the Get More Client show, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again this next week. And Kathy, I know you're trying to add that to the
Oh, there it is.
chat.
Okay.
Oh, there she
Right in front of me.
goes.
That's why I couldn't see it. It was right there, live chat.
And we will get this all out to everyone. All right.
There you go.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Kathy. Thank you to all our audience. And Kathy, I'm going to let you have the last word.
Oh, I just love that, all you stand for, Lynn,
Oh,
of making the connection with your ideal clients and having joy with this. And I love that, get the AI edge. It can help to blend the scary line between marketing, like you're sending message out, and then what an invitation you are to continue that connection and allow yourself to serve from your heart space, which is really, I think, what we're all here to do.
all right. Brilliant. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you on the flip side. All right. I didn't see it. There it showed up in the chat. Great. All right. Thanks. I just wanted to make sure